If you are bored with healthy food, I totally get it. I was forced upon a healthy eating journey after my husband's heart attack. So I went through all the emotions. I was bored, I was frustrated. So if you're bored with healthy food and you just feel like you're in this rut of repetitive, boring, bland eating, it's not really your fault. It's not that necessarily the food is boring, but maybe your routine is boring. So today I'm gonna show you 5 ways that I broke out of my food rut without fancy, complicated recipes or spending hours and hours in the kitchen, because I know you're busy and so am I. And I promise, one of these mindset shifts might just change the way you eat this week and beyond. I'm guessing it's going to be number 4 on the list. Before we dive in, I want to see if maybe one or a few of these are relatable to you. You keep making the same 3 to 5 meals on repeat, in rotation, and you're sick of them, but you know they're safe because they're healthy. The second one, maybe you want to feel better, but the foods feel a little too repetitive. I am going to help you with that in this video today. Or maybe you even feel like you start eating healthy, then you stop because it's not fun, or maybe it doesn't taste the way you want it to. I got you today. Let's dive in. Number 1, repetition can be comfort, but it can also be a trap. Let me explain. You might be sticking with the same recipes when it comes to healthy eating because this whole thing is hard enough. But then when you find a recipe that you can actually make, you make it on repeat, which can be good for a while. But you're sticking to the same things, whether you're trying to save time, or maybe it's just become a habit for you to say, we're gonna have chicken and vegetables for lunch 3 days this week. Or maybe you fear you're gonna waste food because if you try something new and you don't like it, then you're gonna feel like you have to throw it away. I'm gonna help you with all of that today. These little ruts can lead to flavor fatigue. And then what does that do? That leaves you craving processed foods, going back to those old unhealthy foods that you know taste delicious. And what does that do for you? It gives you excitement, right? But knowing that you need to eat healthy makes it hard to make that decision. So I'm gonna try to boost your enthusiasm for some new, fresh, healthy ideas today so you don't get bored with healthy. Because the last thing I want you to do is revert back to unhealthy, which can be ultra processed foods. So when I went to nutrition school after my husband's heart attack, and I was on this anti-inflammatory roll, which was great in the beginning. We had so much motivation because we didn't want him on a bunch of prescription drugs. He almost died. So we were excited about this new healthy journey. But then months in, I hit a wall. I was bored with the flavors, I was bored with the food, and I was craving the bad things. And so it's like this ebb and flow, and I want to let you know I have been there. So today's video is really going to help you get out of that rut if you're in a rut of healthy eating is kind of getting bland, boring, or repetitive. Number 2, small additions always beat huge overhauls. I also learned this in the beginning of my healthy food journey 10 years ago. It's not about the overhaul. When you do an overhaul, you are setting yourself up for failure, disappointment, falling off the bandwagon. I like small additions, making small changes. You don't need 20 new meals. That's what I did, and I was completely burnt out and overwhelmed very quickly. Just one small twist will work instead of 20 new meals. Think small. Let me give you some examples. Try one new vegetable, one new spice. Maybe it's turmeric. Maybe you hear the word turmeric, you know it's anti-inflammatory, but you just don't ever use it. Go buy the turmeric. And if you've already bought it and you're scared to use it, go to my website, shelleycanhelp.com, and it will absolutely give you inspiration on ways to use turmeric. Of course, that's just an example. Maybe try experimenting with making a new sauce once a week, once a month, because we know those ultra-processed, pre-done sauces and dressings at the store are generally unhealthy. Here's a little thing. Maybe add some pickled onions to your recipe to add flavor and to add heart health to your meal. Add probiotics to your meal. Try new herbs. Maybe your go-to is parsley, but to change things up so you don't get bored, maybe try rosemary, oregano, cilantro. Drizzle a fun sauce on your recipe just to change up the flavor. That's such an easy thing, and I have a ton of recipes for sauces and dressings on my website, shelleycanhelp.com, and you can search for sauces and recipes to jazz up your already existing recipe that you make on repeat. If any of these are hitting home with you so far, have you joined my free online community called the Healthy Hub? It's like, think of it like a social group, but it's off social media. It's my own little private community. It is free to join, and there's over 3,200 people in there. We are encouraging each other with healthy food tips, recipe ideas, etc. So if you haven't joined, the link below is in the description. Join us inside the Healthy Hub. Okay, let's get back to our wonderful ideas on getting out of our food ruts when it comes to healthy eating. All right, number 3, your brain, it craves novelty. It doesn't crave junk. It's just craving fresh, flavor, new, different. We're wired to want newness, right? In everything that we do. We love a new pair of shoes. We love a new car. We love going to a new restaurant. So at home, think of it the same way. Your brain wants novelty, something new. It doesn't necessarily mean that the new thing has to be junk. So when you're in a rut and you want something new, don't revert back to the old ways. Let's incorporate some new, healthy, fresh ideas on some existing recipes or maybe one new recipe. Creating novelty or newness with real food instead of ultra-processed foods is how we outsmart that cycle of falling back into old habits. So when you want to do a little refresh, a little something new, go the real food route. And that's what I am here to help you do inside your kitchen. Think texture changes, flavor changes by the spices and the herbs and the sauces. Think colorful bowls. What vegetable can I add to this existing recipe to add a new color? Not overcomplicated recipes that you're searching for endlessly on Instagram for hours and hours, and then you find 20 recipes and then you're like, I can't do it. Think small. All right. Tip number 4, pick a theme, not a plan. I am not a proponent of rigid meal plans. I think too often they backfire. They set us up for, it sounds great. Yay, I have a meal plan. If I follow this plan, I'm gonna perfectly be healthy and I'm gonna lose the weight I wanna lose and I'm gonna lower my blood pressure, and all of it sounds amazing. And I'm not anti-meal plan, so hear me clearly. I just don't believe that the rigid meal plans are sustainable. I'm here to teach you practical tips. I'm here to help you with things that did not work for me on my health journey. And rigid meal plans were one of them. They're just not sustainable. Instead, let's get back to pick a theme. So maybe you could do a weekly theme. Maybe this week we're gonna do 3 bowl recipes. Does that make sense? So instead of thinking, I have to have all these new recipes, think, okay, let's have bowls 3 days this week. And one bowl's gonna have salmon, one bowl's gonna have chicken, and one bowl's gonna be a vegetarian, maybe with tofu or beans. Then you can change up the veggies. So on bowl 1, you do broccoli. In bowl 2, you do like a mixed vegetable. In bowl 3, you do some sauteed spinach. So you're keeping the bowl as the theme, but you're just changing up a couple of ingredients within those bowls. So you're not buying a ton of ingredients at the grocery store, but you're keeping the flavors fresh. And you're choosing real food instead of ultra processed. So with that theme, you'll rotate the ingredients within that theme. So think bowls, wraps, sandwiches, salads, soups, casseroles. Those can all be themes. And then you just change up a few ingredients within those themes. I hope that these tips kind of helped you reset. And let's just recap really, really quickly so you can keep these 4 tips fresh on your mind, because number 4 is my favorite. Number 1, repetition is comfort, but it's also a trap. So don't get caught up in your repetition just because it has been working for you, because that's when you tend to fall off the bandwagon. Number 2, small additions, not big overhauls. Number 3, the brain craves novelty, newness, not junk. And point number 4, Pick a theme, not a rigid meal plan. I actually made a video where I share 3 ingredients I swapped out in my kitchen that completely changed how I feel about the recipes that I create because they are actually healthy and fight inflammation and give me more energy, lower the inflammation, lower my bloating, help my gut bacteria. And if you haven't watched that video, I'll put the link below in the description so you can click on that YouTube video and watch that one as well. It's a great place to start to replace 2 or 3 of the items in your pantry or fridge that might be a little bit inflammatory. If you're feeling bored with food, healthy food, the problem isn't the food. It is the routine and/or the rut. And the good news is it's easy to change. That's what I'm here for. Practical, doable advice for anti-inflammatory eating and cooking. You don't need to be a chef. You just need to stay curious with your health top of mind. If this inspired you, be sure to join the Healthy Hub, my online community. It's where we keep this conversation going, and we find inspiration and practical tips that you can apply in your kitchen, in your grocery store list, and in your meals. Don't forget, healthy eating and cooking does not have to be boring, and it doesn't have to be bland. The link below to join the Healthy Hub is in the description. I have to go for now, but I have one question before I do. What is on your fork? Bye for now.